Okay, so what I'm going to do is let's just start a new architectural project. And I'm just going to draw a simple wall, just say wall, and I'm just going to make it a, let's choose this one for example, just a standard wall, like that, and like that. Delete this. And then I'm just going to insert a couple of windows. They'll put a fixed window in here, and we'll put a, what else have we got in there? A 12 by 12, we'll put that over there. There's not that many in here, but let's say single light here. So we got these three window types to start with. If we go up to annotate, which is there, and we go to tag by category, and then just roll it over one of the windows, we get something like this. And you can see it's already giving us all the information we want in the project. But we need to modify it so it suits our our setup, our graphical setup, and also this is kind of Danish Vindu. Vindu number 11, 12 by 12, and so on. So we can modify it just by, it's simple case of kind of doing a family modification. So if I select it and edit the family, we get into this family here, and what this is called is a label, and it's kind of it's just a nice way of tagging everything. So I can go in here, select it, and edit the label, and here I can add as much information or as little information as I want into the label itself. Now you can see the first thing I can do is I can change the prefix. So I want to change it from Danish to English, so I'll just change it to W for window. It's just a simple thing like that. And I'm just going to change the sample value to 001. We're just going to use a simple numbering system. And what I also like to do is, well, let's just leave it. Yeah.
Did you go to get this table?
Wait a second. So that's fine. So I'm not going to edit it yet. Well, I just got to put some lines in there just to make it a little bit more like the example we have here. So I'm going to make something like this. So just go create line. I'll put a line here and a line here, let's say. And then I'm just going to use the mirror command to mirror them so that they're equal on both sides. And then trim it together. And we'll just make another line in the middle there. So then we got something like that. Now, the thing about that is the label is all in kind of one box. So if the numbers become too big, they'll start overlapping each other. So what I generally do is rather than just having one label, I make it into two labels so you can kind of control the position in there, just as a graphical thing. So the first thing I'm going to do is edit the label. Let's go back and change that to W. I didn't save that actually. And I'm going to remove the type name from that label, and we'll change the sample value to 001 again. Apply. So then you can see we can just move that up, get it kind of centered on the graphic, and then we can copy it down. And this really is kind of a simple process, but it's kind of once you know it, it's so useful. So now we've got two the same, so we just edit the label again, and this time around I'm going to take off the mark and we can have back in the type name. So it gives it a name as well. Now we could add in any kinds of stuff. If it was a fire drawing, for example, we could change the tag so that it included fire and so on. Or we can make up parameters for whatever we want by making a new parameter here. But let's just leave it like that for the moment. So apply that. So now we've got the number and we've got the name. I'm going to save it on the desktop. Desktop. I call it window tag. And I just give it I'll put my name on the end here. SHAO. So that means is that you can build up like your own library of graphical stuff, you know, so you never have to do it again. So you just do it once and then you have it and you can use it in all your projects from then on. But it could be the case that because Revit is still a new program in architectural offices, it could be you guys that are setting up the graphical standards, maybe transferring them from AutoCAD. If you go into an office, there's always graphical standards. You use the same standards each time so that all the drawings have more or less the same you know, graphical quality to them. But they need all to be transferred from AutoCAD now to all the new software. So it could be you guys that are doing it. So anyway, so load it into the project, and now we can select the label type, and we can change it to the new one we've made. So it kind of looks like that. The other option we have is that we can modify the leader. We can either switch it off, so it's just like that, which is fair enough, or we can switch it on and we can change the arrowhead on it, so it's like, you know, an arrow or different types of box or an open dot or whatever, apply like that. So you have, you know, a nice way of representing it on the drawing that's kind of clear. This drawing would be 1:50 because it's a constructional plan. So everybody, that's simple enough, yeah? The nice thing about that is once you've set it up, you don't want to go around and individually tag it. So you can also just get Revit to do it for you. I don't know if Robert's talked about this, has he? No. So you can just go to annotate, and rather than going tag by category, I can just press tag all. If I press tag all, I can just choose Windows and apply, and it just puts one on every window, just like that. So you don't have to really think about it. And we all know that nobody likes to think too much. But what it's actually displaying here is the number of the window. So then we just have to make sure that we've numbered the windows correctly. So if I select the window here, you know, why are we starting at 10, 11, 12? That's just what Revit has done. But I can come in here and change the mark to, you know, 001, and, you know, make sure that you get your number, your window numbers correct to start with. So let's change that to 002. Let's change this, whoops, not the tag, the actual window itself, 003. So I'm actually changing the parameters in the window rather than the tag. So the tag is just displaying the parameters that are in the window, and that's an important thing because that means that you can use those parameters in other places. So let's say this was your construction. Let's say you wanted to build this L-shaped wall with 3 windows in it for some reason. Maybe you're a, you know, conceptual artist or something. And you need to send it out to get a price on the windows. So this is where we start to use schedules, and this is the schedules and you know, the calculation of quantities is the real point of Revit software. It's not really for design; it's for actually making the management of a production process efficient. So the schedules, they're a little bit tricky to get used to because, like many things in Revit, it's kind of done backwards, and it could be easier, but they just don't make it easier because they're making enough money at the moment by still making it difficult. Let's just do this so you can see it on the screen here because you're not getting my whole screen here. So schedules and quantities. So I'm just going to make a window schedule. So right click on the schedules, new schedule and quantities, and come down. I'm going to make a schedule of the windows. Press OK. And then just like the tag, it's asking me about the detail I want to put in the windows. And there's all kinds of stuff you can add in here. But let's start off by putting in the type mark, which is the name that we put in at the beginning. So this would be like W001 or whatever. And then we can put in the type itself. And then we can put in stuff like the height, the width, and the sill height is also important, as in how high it is above ground level. And you know, you can add extra stuff in there. I can't remember if it's a mark or model that I'm using. Maybe I'll try both of them anyway, see what it looks like. So I press OK. Yeah, type mark is something else. Okay, so here's the actual window number, and we can go back in there actually and modify that. I'll remove type mark again. Let's remove that out again. And I'm going to put mark at the front here, so let's move that up to the top. Mark, type, height, width, sill height, and press OK. So there we have a a schedule of all the windows in the project, and that will update automatically every time you add an extra window in there. If we just do this, if I say I'm going to put another window in here, just to demonstrate. Whoops. And move it in. You can see now we have 4 windows in there, and it's automatically numbered 004, so that it keeps it up to date effectively. Okay. So that's one thing. Now, that's how to actually make a list of the windows. So the next thing then is you want to make a drawing that contains like an image of the windows with all the dimensions on it and a list, so that when you send it out to a manufacturer, they can't really, misunderstand your intentions. We've got this one. So first thing we do is I'm going to set up a sheet. So now we're kind of ready to set up the window schedule sheet. So I'm going to say new sheet. I've got no. I'll just use this one here because I haven't got the typical one loaded. So there's the sheet. It's an A4 sheet with a title block in the corner. I'm going to take the schedule exactly like you take a drawing into a sheet. You just take the window schedule, drag it across, and you can put it somewhere that makes sense. We can kind of stretch it around until it fits correctly. Type. I can kind of play with those graphics until they work correctly. You can also kind of modify the graphics. So you can change the border type, you can change the fonts, you can change the colors of the text, all that kind of stuff. If you want to get into that, you can set up your own. Graphical standards. You could remove these boxes and all that kind of stuff so it fits with the title block or whatever. So that's kind of the list of the windows. So now we just have to have some drawings of the windows. And there's a nice little tool in Revit to do that, which is called Legends. And Legends is something, it's either, if I open up Legends, it's automatically loaded to show, the different line styles that are in the project, if you're using the Dan.edu in any case. What line styles you use for, sanitary, sewage and drainage and domestic hot and cold water and so forth. Those are all automatically loaded in the Dan.edu template. But I'm going to make a new legend. So right click on it, new legend. And I'm going to call this one Window Legend. We leave it at 1 to 20. Press OK. So there's our window legend. So then, sorry. So then if we go back to annotate, we have a new option here under the annotate thing, which is called component. So I can call a legend component. So I can select legend component, and let me just do that again. Legend component. And then I get a list of all the components that are existing in the project. So this is everything from roofs to columns to windows to doors to ceiling types and so on. So I can select, window fixed, and it'll come in, a little plan version of it will come in like this. I can then kind of copy that down like that. And then I can modify it and change it to, sorry, I pressed the wrong button there, to change it from a floor plan view to a front elevation view. And then we have a plan view and an elevation view of, the first window type. And then we can just keep going with that. We can just go component, legend component. This time around I'm going to choose the 12 by 12. Put it in here. And in there. And this one I'm going to change again to, whoops, I always pressed the wrong button. Elevation front. Move it into place. If you get something like this, it means it's taken, a wall section that's too narrow for the window to embed into it. So you can modify that just by selecting it and just change the host length to larger than the window. So let's just change that to 1250, for example. And then it kind of pops it outside the like that. Okay, so then all you need to do is dimension them. So let's put in some align dimensions here, Here. Yeah. So then we've got like a basic window legend. If I go back now to the sheet, I can just grab that window legend and insert it into the sheet like that. Simple, yeah?
How does it work with curtain walls?
Curtain walls are different. They're not windows, they're assemblies. So you have to kind of play with them in a different way. The thing about curtain walls is that they're not... let me just pause this video so I'm not talking.